Today's story was written by Reddit user Opinionated IMO. Part of the way into his weekly lawn work, Rick spotted a massive hornet nest in one of his Bradford pear trees. It was larger than any he had ever seen before. A closer inspection of the beach ball-sized hive revealed just how immense it was. Fearing for the safety of his family, he pondered how he was going to destroy it. A colony that size meant tens of thousands of aggressive stinging insects. As much as he recognised the crucial necessity of bees in the ecosystem, he couldn't have a super colony of that size swarming and attacking his family or pets. After careful consideration, he decided it was a job best performed by professional exterminators or bee wranglers. Strangely, he didn't witness any of them flying around the nest. In order to determine if they were Africanized, he needed to photograph one of them to better inform the exterminator. From his vantage point on a small ladder directly underneath the colony, he nervously waited for one of them to fly out. Minutes passed, then over an hour. Standing uncomfortably on the ladder, Rick started to hope that the hive was abandoned. Then he heard a vibrating sound coming from within and realized it was too good to be true. The hive was definitely alive, but what followed was infinitely worse than just confirming it was still active. In what could only be described as an insectoid-esque type voice, he was personally addressed from deep within the hive.
Rick, we are your new neighbours. Allow us to introduce ourselves. We recently fled a dying world in a nearby solar system and immigrated to your planet to save our species. We want to establish a lasting understanding and peace with humanity that can bridge any differences between us. We are a gentle, progressive race of creatures, but can powerfully defend ourselves if threatened or attacked. We only ask for a symbiotic coexistence with your developing species. If you personally leave our hive alone, we will leave your family unit alone. Our species can greatly benefit yours through plant pollination efforts and positive technological contributions. We know that your indigenous population of honeybees are dying off. We can take their place in exchange for sincere tolerance. Can we come to a mutual understanding? Rick felt faint. His knees buckled and he fell right off the ladder. Luckily, he wasn't harmed physically from the fall. The same couldn't be said for his mental state. Being the first human to ever communicate with an unseen alien bee species living in his pear tree? Feeling like a loon, he raised his head upward and spoke directly to the massive camouflage sphere. It was so well hidden in the labyrinth of tree limbs and leaves that it was easy to understand how it had went undetected previously. I'm going to need some time to process all of this. I'll get back to you. The alien spokesman was about to reply that he understood, when Rick darted away and ran into his house like a madman. Inside, he yelled for his wife until she responded. Margie, where are you? You aren't going to believe this. You've got to see it. She came to the hallway to find out why her husband was so animated. When he saw her, he grabbed her by the arm and pulled her outside instantly. There's something you need to see. It's right over there. She was more than a little annoyed at being dragged into the front yard without shoes or explanation. Stop pulling me! I don't have any shoes on. I might step on a bee and get stung. Let me put on some slippers first, okay? Then you can show me whatever it is. Rick was so highly agitated that he wasn't about to wait. He kept pulling her impatiently toward the Bradford pear to see the nest. I have it on good authority that you won't be stung. Just come with me and see. She frowned at his callous response, but saw the overturned stepladder in the grass. Oh my heavens! Did you fall off that rickety thing? Are you hurt? Let me look you over. Once at the base of the tree,
She was too preoccupied with his superficial injuries to notice what he was pointing at. "Look up there," he demanded. "Past that big forked limb. Do you see it? It's a huge hive. I just spotted it and was trying to investigate when—" She interrupted tersely. "Oh my stars, that thing is huge! It must be full of bees! Did you get stung? We need to call an exterminator as soon as possible. We can't have that thing in the tree with Billy playing in the yard. He might get attacked. We've got to do something about it." "Wait, just hear me out, okay? There's something else you need to know. It's amazing. They spoke to me. They said they are from another planet, and they would leave us alone if we leave them alone." Margie squinted in disbelief at Rick's incomprehensible statement. "Did you hit your head when you fell off the ladder? We'd better take you to the hospital. You aren't making any sense at all. We'll get someone out here to take care of the nest later." No, I did fall, but I fell after they spoke to me. It just startled me, that's all. I'm perfectly fine now. I know it sounds crazy, but I swear it's true. Here, I'll prove it." He stood the ladder back up and was on the 3rd rung when Margie tried to stop him. "Come down from there before you hurt yourself again. We need to get you to the emergency room. You might have a brain hemorrhage or something." Rick shrugged off her patronising efforts and started addressing the hive in earnest. "Hey, hive master, will you please tell my wife what you just told me? She believes I have brain damage from my fall." To his chagrin, there was no response at all from the massive paper nest in the tree. "I tell you, really, something within that big hive did talk to me. In English, I swear. It was just as clear as day. I heard it and was so startled that I slipped off. I didn't even hit my head when I fell. They said their colony can take the place of the declining honeybee population and help humanity if we can all agree to live in peace." With no response from the hive whatsoever, Margie looked at her husband with grave concern and fear. She buckled Billy in the back seat and drove her husband to the ER as he protested his lucidity. After standing behind his statement about the talking alien bees in their pear tree, no amount of reassurance from him would satisfy her. "You didn't have to tell the ER doctor about them. Now I look psychotic, for Christ's sakes. That was shared with you in confidence. You don't think it sounds psychotic to tell your wife you've been chatting with alien wasps? How else could I explain the serious nature of our visit? You were babbling incoherent nonsense. What was I supposed to do? I had to tell them why you needed an MRI. Speaking to a beehive is not normal behaviour in any stretch of the imagination." "Mommy, I need an MRI too. I've talked to them. Are they bad people in that bee nest?" Billy was genuinely concerned about the quality of his new tree-born associates. "What? Yes. Those bees are bad people. If you get too close to them, they will sting you. Then we'll have to take you to the doctor and get a huge shot." She knew how much Billy was afraid of shots. "But they told me the same thing they told Daddy. If we leave them alone, they will leave us alone." She nearly drove off the road. She wasn't sure if Billy was trying to be supportive by pretending to share his father's delusion, or if he fell off the ladder too. "Billy, listen to me. You didn't really talk to those bees, did you? Bees can't talk, right?" Poor Billy was torn between the importance of maintaining the truth and agreeing with his mother, both things she expected from him. He sought to find a middle ground that straddled the line. There appeared to be no right answer. "Mama, I know that ordinary bees can't talk, but these are special bees. They can talk. They told me to keep our discussion a secret. Not everyone knows yet about the special type that can speak." Billy's mother was speechless. She didn't know how to process what she just heard. First her husband and now her son had the same nonsensical idea. It was frightening. "As soon as we get home, I want you to ask them to talk to me, okay?" She sought to dispel the delusion Billy clung to by making him recognise that it had no basis in fact. So far, that method had failed to pay off with Rick, but she was still hopeful he would come to his senses. However, at the moment, he had his arms crossed in annoyed silence. Back at their home, Billy led the charge over to the Bradford pair to prove his claims. Both his mother and father strolled up to the large tree with smug determination. She was anxious to put the ridiculous idea to rest, and he hoped to finally be vindicated. Billy's testimony lent considerable credence to his story, but that would all fall apart if they chose to remain silent again. "Mr. B, will you please tell my mama what you told me the other day? She doesn't know about the special bees." Margie felt a headache coming on. Even after her point would soon be made, it would be a hollow victory. They were her family, and their mental health was loosely associated with her own. Birds of a feather and all.
"Greetings, Margie Newman. I represent our colony in cultural affairs. Your husband and son have been telling the truth. We are an advanced race of insect beings who immigrated recently to your planet in desperation. Because of our similar appearance to certain indigenous wasps, we have been able to go undetected until now. A council of elders has decided that we should go ahead and approach the human authorities about asking for full cooperation and amnesty. It is a calculated gamble to reveal ourselves. The vote was hotly debated among us, but in the strategy of hiding, we have accepted too many collateral losses. We hope that the human rulers of Earth can eventually accept our presence and coexist with us. Otherwise, there will be an ugly war."
Margie stared blankly at the buzzing hive above her head, with her mouth agape. While inhuman in delivery, the strange message from the nest was clear enough. They were not alone. The Newman family was warned to proceed cautiously in the matter of sharing the revelation with others. The potential for skepticism was incredibly high, and it would only take one case of xenophobic alien panic to create an interstellar conflict. Rick spotted several sister hives around their neighbourhood. It was easy to spot them, once you knew what to look for. The new neighbours hadn't shared how many of them lived around the globe, but he got the impression that the number was astronomical. "You've obviously confided in me, and trust that the sensitive secret of your existence is safe with my family," Rick began. "Having that knowledge is pointless if it isn't eventually used to effect a positive change for your species. How does your council want us to proceed? Should we contact our congressman or the local police department? Maybe writing NASA or a scientific organisation would be prudent instead. We just want to help, but recognise how perilous this operation could be with a costly misstep."
"We are thankful for your sincere efforts to help us. We are grateful to have found open, honest, and brave human beings to contact. Our mission to survive depends on your bravery and willingness to work for the good of other species. Our Elder Council is still formulating the best course of action on notifying your authorities of our existence. It's bound to cause a certain level of panic. Humans are still under the mistaken impression that they are the only cognizant creatures in the world. Once they find out about our race of beings, jealousy and fear will lead some of your people to attack us. The announcement must be made after all the careful groundwork has been established. Until then, the secret must remain between you and your family. Do you understand?"
Yes, of course. I can't even imagine the chaos the news of your arrival could cause to the general public, Ambassador. We'll do it your way. Just let us know when you're ready and what we need to do."
"We are greatly relieved that you understand how important this decision is to our continued salvation. We will come forward when the time is right. In the meantime, there is a matter of great importance. Our very existence is being threatened by the very same chemical herbicide that is decimating your terrestrial honeybees, wasps, hornets, and yellowjackets. Like our primitive cousins here in Earth, We are also susceptible to the same deadly compounds. If we don't find a way to stop the manufacture and distribution of these poisons, we will all die before we even have a chance to be accepted by humanity. Already, many within this hive have grown ill. Even with our level of technological advancement, we can't do anything against their deadly weapon against nature. Simply put, we are dying. Rick felt a deep sadness within the pit of his stomach. Not only was the massive chemical corporation killing the indigenous population of pollen-spreading earth bees, they were also destroying the planet's newest inhabitants. There was also strong evidence to suggest that Bonsando's patented fertilizer was washing into the world's oceans and causing lifeless dead zones. It was all in the name of corporate apathy and greed. There's no doubt that they are an evil, unethical corporation, but what can we do about it? If you understand our legal system, you know that they buy off politicians. We are powerless to stop their genetic grain engineering and mass production of herbicides. They have a team of shrewd lawyers to protect their money-making cash machine. No one would listen to us. There was a long pause after Rick's impassioned response. The reply caught Rick off guard. We are often confused by the human system of justice. Your values are weighed by a diluted moral process. It appears to be very convoluted and layered. We see the external circumstances as having a narrow relevance. Either something is morally correct or it is incorrect in our view. To better paraphrase, we do not see true justice in shades of grey. It is wrong for them to poison the soil and plant life of the earth with deadly chemicals. Then that does not affect our level of action. Humans seem to act based on their ability to challenge the evildoer. We seek to right all wrongs, regardless of the possible consequences. In those concise terms, Rick felt great shame. The alien bees were absolutely right. It was immaterial whether they had any legal recourse against Bonsando. They were still poisoning the earth and needed to be stopped at all costs. Consequences be damned. Something had to be done, and the Newman family was going to do their part. So, what do we have here, Steve-O? Oh, this is one for the history books. From what we've ascertained so far, it's felony vandalism, destruction of property, and a giant dash of industrial sabotage. From the initial statement made by the suspects, it has all the earmarks of radical social activism. Their group is apparently against the Bonsando Corporation for their controversial chemical ground clear and the biological GMO engineering on seas. Group? Isn't it just a husband and wife team? Are they tied to one of the large radical environmentalist groups on the watch list? We don't think so, Steve replied. They brought along their 6-year-old kid, but he stayed behind in the car. You're kidding. Can we add child abuse or neglect to their criminal charges? Nah, the kid had a full sippy cup and it was 60 degrees last night. They may be kooky environmentalists, but they appear to take good care of him. The strangest thing is the statement we took from the little guy himself. You took an oral statement from the kid? Steve-O, you, sir, are a superstar. What did he say? Have the parents already indoctrinated him to the so-called evils of GMO corn? I interviewed all 3 of them independently, and they all had the same wacky story to tell. You need to be sitting down to hear this. Are you ready? I'm serious. It is so bizarre. The father, wife, and son all claim that an alien race of bees living in their pear tree told them they were dying from the harmful effects of ground clear chemicals. What? They really said that? The detective laughed heartedly with a series of connected snorts. The wife and kid too? Alien? As in from outer space? That's insane! Gotta be drugs. It's gotta be. What sort of radical nature cult are they in? Even more amazing, I polygraphed both the parents. As far as they are concerned,
They are telling the truth. I sent over Edmonds to investigate their home for signs of connection with known extremist groups. He called me this afternoon with a real bombshell. It seems there really is a massive nest in their pear tree. Really? Did he get to see any of those space hornets? Both men erupted again in laughter. No, the Newman family claims that bees are very shy, and only an ambassador speaks to them through an opening in the hive. No word yet on what our alien overlords want us to do next. Oh man, that is beyond ridiculous. My side hurts from laughing so hard. Well, did Edmonds find anything useful at the house? You know Edmonds, that dude is fearless. He actually took their garden hose and destroyed the hive using the water pressure. Fearless? More like crazy. Did he get stung? Here's where the story gets even more interesting, if that's possible. There were absolutely no bees or hornets in the nest. The only thing inside was a battery-operated nanny cam and speaker system. What? You mean... Yes. Someone nearby planted a fake hive in their tree and convinced them it was inhabited by space bees. Both men began to snicker at the absurd idea, until Steve continued. The model only has a range of a quarter mile or so. We are looking into the 4 neighbours close enough to send the signal. We can subpoena FBI records on their backgrounds if need be. They can still be charged under several domestic terrorist and coercion statutes, as well as accessories to the crime. This really is one for the books. What a crazy case. Are you going to tell the Newmans? I just don't have the heart, Steve replied. Overall, they seem like nice folks. They were unwittingly tricked by clever extremists into attacking an international chemical company. It's their first offence. The judge will take it easy on them. The embarrassment of being duped will haunt them longer than the suspended sentence and fine for damages will.